Have you ever seen someone get expelled for something they said? In ninth grade, this kid Owen used to make my absolute life hell in chemistry class. Every single day, he'd find new and creative ways to mess with me. The breaking point came during a particularly crucial lab experiment in late April. We were working with glass beakers and dangerous chemicals for our final project worth 50% of our semester grade. That Friday morning, I was carefully carrying my completed experiment to the front of the class to present it. That's when Owen struck. He waited until I was halfway to the front, then deliberately stuck his foot out into the aisle. I went flying forward. The beaker shattered against the solid lab bench. Glass fragments went everywhere like shrapnel, and a massive shard sliced my forearm wide open from wrist to elbow. Blood was absolutely pouring down my arm, completely soaking through my white button-down shirt. The cut was so deep, you could see muscle tissue underneath. I needed 16 stitches, a tetanus shot, and missed 3 full days of school recovering from what the ER doctor called a potentially life-threatening laceration. My parents were beyond livid when they saw me come home looking like I'd been in a car accident. They'd heard months of my complaints about Owen's constant harassment, but this crossed every line imaginable. They stormed into the school at 8 a.m. the following Monday morning, demanding an immediate emergency meeting with Principal Davis. They brought photos of my injuries, the hospital bills, and a detailed timeline of every incident I'd reported over the past semester. Principal Davis reluctantly called us all into her cramped office that Tuesday morning. Owen lounging casually in his chair like he didn't have a care in the world, and his mom, Mrs. Graham. Mrs. Graham immediately took control of the meeting. "Let's all just calm down here," she said smoothly. "This was clearly just an unfortunate accident between boys. These things happen in laboratory environments all the time." She shot disapproving looks at my parents and continued in her most condescending voice. "My Owen would never intentionally hurt another student. He's been raised with proper values and excellent manners. Perhaps if certain students were more careful and coordinated, these regrettable incidents wouldn't occur." My dad's face was turning red with anger. "Accident? Your son has been terrorizing our kid for months. This was deliberate assault." "That's a very serious accusation," Mrs. Graham replied coolly. "Do you have any proof of these wild claims? Because I think you'll find that Owen has an excellent reputation with his teachers and coaches." Principal Davis tried to mediate. "Perhaps we can find a solution that works for everyone. Maybe Owen could write an apology letter and do some community service." Mrs. Graham nodded approvingly. "That seems more than fair for what was clearly an accident." I could see my dad's hands shaking with rage as Mrs. Graham continued making excuses. "Owen has always been such a good boy," she went on. "Honor roll student, star athlete, volunteer at the animal shelter. I'm sure he feels terrible about what happened, don't you, sweetie?" Owen nodded and put on his most innocent face. "Yeah, I feel really bad about the accident." That's when my mom finally snapped. "Accident? You deliberately tripped our son. We all know exactly what happened." Mrs. Graham's eyes flashed dangerously. "Are you calling my son a liar? Because that sounds like slander to me." The room erupted into arguments. Then Owen made the single biggest mistake of his entire life. He leaned back casually in his chair with this incredibly cocky smirk, looked his mom dead in the eye, and said with complete confidence, "Come on, Mom. We both know I tripped him on purpose. The pathetic little loser totally deserved what he got." Mrs. Graham's face went from smug to ghost white in about 2 seconds. "Owen, what exactly did you just say?" But Owen was on a roll now, thinking he was untouchable. "I said I tripped him deliberately. So what? It's not like anyone's actually gonna do anything about it." Principal Davis slowly put down her pen and stared at him. "Actually, Owen, intentional assault resulting in serious bodily injury is grounds for immediate expulsion, and you just confessed in front of witnesses."